Welcome to Hope for Survival YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to our new subscribers. Thanks for following along. This video is not to instill fear in you, but to give you information to get your attention and to heed to what I'm going to share with you. In my last video, I talked about the increased terrorist threat to the United States. I want to expand upon that in this video. So grab a pen and paper if you need to, put down the ding-dongs and the Twinkies, and turn down your TV and listen up. So since 9/11, which was titled the GWOT, Global War on Terrorism, the United States, primarily our military, three-letter agencies, and government, has been involved in fighting terrorism around the world, predominantly in the Middle East, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, parts of Africa, and other regions. And I don't know how closely you follow along with the news and pay attention to it, since it's not at home. But there's been 25 years of ongoing effort abroad to fight the war on terrorism. And after 9/11, when we launched attacks in Afghanistan and further in Iraq, our government stated it was better to fight them abroad than them come here and fight them on the homeland. Well, many things have happened, many things have changed. You've had administration changes, which means policy changes, and decisions on how to go about fighting GWOT. So over the last 3.5, soon to be 4 years under the current administration, we evacuated Afghanistan, and in a handshake dope deal, agreed to allow the Taliban to regain control over Afghanistan. And part of that deal was that the Taliban would keep ISIS in check. Well, the reality is it was all lip service, and the Taliban has allowed ISIS free reign in Afghanistan to set up anywhere from 100 to 1,000 training camps throughout Afghanistan. And these are all new fighters coming in, which means we don't have identity or biometrics to identify any of these young individuals coming out of the camps trained. A lot of the veterans from the first 20 years are who survived are in these camps teaching skills to the new trained individuals who will come out to do their missions. Well, while this was going on, if you can think back to the size of 9/11 and the level of effort and the months it took, the terrorists, they funded that attack on about a $500,000 budget. Well, over the last 3.5 years, the U.S. government, us taxpayers, has been sending in the neighborhood of $80 million every 10 days to the Taliban. Plane loads of cash on pallets delivered every 10 days. And there was a UN middleman there for the exchange of the cash. So we've gone from a $500,000 budget to millions and millions of dollars that is available to expand um, the effort in research, development, training, deployment, placing them across their border undetected, and them living amongst us within the United States. Another big change is in the past, you had different organizations that functioned independently of one another, and now they've merged internationally and domestically with the same ideology and the same goal in mind, and that is their vow to bring down the West. Another misunderstanding amongst our intelligence agencies for years was that Osama bin Laden's son was deceased. Well, the reality is he wasn't dead, and he's well and alive, and he is leading and pushing forth this effort for revenge for his father, and they are intent on causing mass damage and death to the Western world, meaning Europe and the United States. Recently, this has been pushed to the front by some former intelligence folks who could read the writing on the wall, and they're trying to get the attention of the American people. They're trying to get the attention of local authorities, your local police, emergency responders, government officials, all the way up to the federal government. And so far, it's on deaf ears. So over the last 3.5 years, in the shadows, the GWAT veterans around America have been pushing the effort to try to get as many citizens as possible prepared for self-sustainability, but also to work to educate their local communities. And if you've been a follower or a participant in Hope for Survival, this should sound familiar, because that's exactly what we've been doing. As a veteran of GWAT, we have been, Hope for Survival has been trying to build community teams and get folks open-minded, focusing on the mindset for thinking outside the box and staying left of bang. This means seeing things that the average citizen doesn't see because they haven't been trained and they don't necessarily know what they're looking for. This is kind of a early warning device for communities, and we will continue going forward with that effort. So with all this information that is available to us right now, more so to non-veterans, if you will, because many of us who served during this period are familiar with methods desired in different style attacks based on history, research, and information flow. And we will continue to work to try to bring this information out and to get people trained. But you, as a viewer, this is something that you need to focus and pay close attention. All right, because the leadership in the current ISIS um, terrorist organization has vowed attacks on America 5 to 10 times greater than what 9/11 was. If you remember, if you were alive then and old enough to remember, it wasn't just the terrorist attacks that everyone watched on TV and the numerous deaths and destruction at the terrorist attack locations, but there were hundreds of billions of dollars spent. And if you look at the state of our economy today, and attacks like this would bring the United States to our knees, it'd be demoralizing. Folks that lived through this before would have to live through it again with their children. And it further decays any existing trust that the citizens have in the government to keep our nation safe, which is their number one responsibility. So while that piece of the puzzle is being massaged and trying to get the attention of the new administration, that there needs to be a redirected focus, there needs to be a redirected approach by our intelligence agencies. They need to get rid of the stovepipes and stop worrying about promotions and focus more on the specifics of what their job exactly is, and listening to people who have had the experience and can identify and get this information out. We're talking about, if you're familiar historically with past attacks on the transportation system in London, England, to the buses, if you're familiar with the attack in Mumbai and the Taj Mahal, and on and on. And the Bin Laden's son is talking about conducting attacks on anniversary dates of these past successful events around the world, but conducting them in the United States. So one of the past attacks that was pretty much a first of its kind was in Mumbai and the Taj Mahal. But you know, we all look as the internet as our quick source, providing available information for departments and agencies around our community, maybe in your cities if you live in a city. But most emergency response offices have websites and they have photos of who the leadership is. Well, in this past attack, one of the things that the terrorists had conducted their homework, and they identified who key leadership was. And when they started the attack, they started eliminating these key leaders. Okay, so when radio calls were going out for decisions, there was no leadership available on the radios because they had been taken out. Another effort is to conduct one or two attacks to draw emergency responders to a attack location, when in reality it's a diversion and they're going to conduct a much larger attack at another location where the emergency responders are going to already be tied up at the first and second attack scenes. There's many efforts on their part, and for anyone to sit back and categorize or judge these individuals as being a bunch of unread, dumb individuals, you are sorely mistaken. Okay, they're highly trained, they're very proficient, time is on their side, especially when conducting surveillance of desired targets. They can operate around you, you won't know they're there, and they have the option of picking the target, the location, the time, and when to attack. Okay, we're talking transportation systems, we're talking cruise liners, airliners, um, arenas, churches, schools, shopping malls, and things of that nature that draws crowds. It could even be in a city in backed up traffic in the morning or the end of the day, where traffic's at a standstill and you have nowhere to go but to get out and try to run. All right. And we've talked about this numerous times in past videos and training classes, as to always be vigilant, don't get boxed in, always look for exit routes in and out wherever you're going to, whether it's a church, a restaurant, a shopping mall, to always have an exit strategy versus focusing on cell ads that may be hanging on the wall, okay, or walking through the mall on your cell phone, not paying attention to what's going on around you. So I'll provide more information coming out in the future to this topic. I just wanted to get this out. Again, I'll post 2 links down in the down below in the information block to 2 videos. They're time consuming, but I would encourage you strongly to take the time, turn off the TV when you can focus, and watch these 2 videos that was recently put out. Okay. I wouldn't take it lightly. I wouldn't blow it off or ignore it. It has my attention 100% because this is the arena that I worked in during my time in uniform, working the U.S. terrorism, counterterrorism program, supporting special operations as a security advisor. And much of what's being said in this video is not new news. It is just that the organizations and terrorists that we were fighting abroad are now bringing the war on terrorism to our home front. Okay, and these are ruthless savages who will fight to their death. They are not cowards. They are highly trained, and we have no clue how many of them are already in our country because of our open border policy the last 3.5 years, because of the lack of biometrics to identify them, because we didn't know who the new trainees, who the terrorists were, and they got a free walk across. Their technology has greatly expanded to now having the ability to bring weaponry and explosive material that our existing security systems at checkpoints cannot detect. And this is a whole new ballgame. So being vigilant to what doesn't fit in the picture where you may be, it doesn't mean panic. It means you've got to be smarter on your game to stay focused, and then know what steps to take in the event that you think something around you warrants further attention. It may be in your neighborhood, someone that lives around you. It's a laundry list of things to watch for and steps that you can take. It's basically a call to all citizens that you need to get involved in your community and not only get involved but play a role to assist, not in fighting the terrorists, but being early detection devices to help, because just as the last 3.5 years, a new administration is coming into office next week, And anyone who sits back and thinks that the president to be come Monday is going to be able to fix this at the snap of a finger, you're a fool. Because it was a long time in coming, and it's here. And even policy changes takes a long time to go into effect and then roll downhill. And this is a problem that's going to have to be addressed from the ground up immediately. Okay, so I hope you get the point of what I'm sharing with you. Again, it's time to get off the sofa and put down the ding dongs and the Twinkies, and put yourself forward in helping. Okay, so stay safe and focused out there. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't be in fear. Focus and get in the game. It's the most that anyone can ask of you is to get in the game. So, till next time, be blessed, and if you like this video, please hit like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and share this information. We need everyone involved. And most importantly, don't forget to give thanks. Bravo Echo out.